Good evening. We're glad to have you here tonight. That was Gloria Deo Gratias, and that's written by an Oklahoma native, Christy Carey Miller. She teaches elementary school in Oklahoma City. Our next song is John Henry, and as a child, I enjoyed singing about all our folk legends. That was my favorite thing to learn in school about history, was the folk tales. So this is about John Henry. Teaching has been here in Oklahoma. I was never going to teach. I was going to always perform on the French horn, but when I stepped into a middle school classroom, it was all over. And I swore I would never teach elementary, but my first teaching job was elementary until I could get into a middle school. And I never wanted it any different. So, and as the 35 years have passed, it just seems, I can still remember the first day of teaching. It just doesn't seem like it's been 35 years, and where they are, I don't know. But my mother grabbed my hand about 3 weeks ago, and she has Alzheimer's, so she has extreme dementia, and she usually doesn't even know where, she doesn't know where we live, and she doesn't know who I am a lot of the times, and she grabbed my hand and she says, "Sweetheart, you need to know that it's all in those song words, and whatever those words say, you've got to express them, and you've got to know what those songs are saying." So I've always made it a point to go over that with my kids. And this climb song I would bought for next fall. And my 7th and 8th graders looked at it and said, "We want to sing this song." And I said, "Well, no, it's for the fall, and it's for the 6th graders in the fall, because when they come in, I want them to do that." So then the 6th graders came in, and I said, "Well, I didn't know you'd like that song." And they said, "Oh, yeah, we want to do that song." And the more we sang this song, I realized what it was saying to me. And there's a point in your teaching career where you first start. 35 years, I never thought I'd make it that long. And here we are. So you'll hear through the words of this song what it's talking about. We're going to have my kids demonstrate it with you. I have 4 soloists. Okay, I'm going to invite the 7th and 8th graders up, and we're going to sing the medley from Wicked, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this medley. While they're coming up, there's one of my students, McKenna Charles. She told me I could mention her name tonight. Everybody up here. And you'll notice we're going to use a soloist in the front row, and they're going to go from 6th grade. We have a professional singer, one of my former students, Jennifer Kolchak. So we're going through the whole process. And what this song says to me is, you can either take it from my point of view or from the children's point of view, but my client has been teaching kids how to sing. And so we're going to start with the 6th grade and go all the way through our professional singer, because that's what they can reach for. Let me talk about Wicked. What am I going to tell you about that? Oh, the Emerald City is the school. One of my little 7th or 6th grade boys was just joyful one day, and he raised his hand and said, "Mrs. Ripe, I know what the Emerald City is." And I said, "What is the Emerald City?" And he says, "Las Vegas." So no, it is, it's Oz. But anyway, to me, it's the school. So when you hear us talking about the school, the first song talks about coming to the school and all the great adventures you're going to have. The second song talks about making you get your feet comfortable and making friends popular and just getting along with other kids. The third song is about people that we meet that really touch our hearts in the school, that are real important to our futures. And the fourth song is where we cut free and we go into retirement, or we go on to our new direction.